Hello, everyone. I believe we are live now. So, welcome once again to another live episode of Investing with the Difference. So, today we are again going to talk about a lot of stuff which is happening in EOS. I think we have been doing some videos. I hope you're enjoying those. There's a lot of progress. We talked about some apps, the decentralized application, which are really making a lot of progress. And also, we will, of course, take questions if you have any in terms of what's going on, if you have any specific concerns about questions about airdrops, anything we is open for you today, and let's talk about those things. So first of all, let us look at where the market is, and of course, we start with the Bitcoin chart. So as you can see, I think we did a pretty good up move. Sorry for this. Okay, so it was a pretty big, nice up move. We've hit 7,100 area, but we are again going down. So let us have a close look. So if you remember, I was always talking about the 6,800 to 6,850 area, which we broke out. And what happens is when you break out a very significant resistance, it becomes a support. And that's what I'm seeing right now. So even though it's falling, I think we seem to be taking some support around this zone. And that is kind of encouraging. But I think overall, as you know, we have not yet broken out into a bull market. So we have to be careful here of what happens. But again, as I say, we should always look at a bigger picture. Don't get involved into day to day small time action. So that's why I always look at daily charts. And we have a long way to run up to the 8,000 area, which is the real test whether we can break out of this bear market. So because this 200 moving average and this downward facing trend line, these are, I think, still pointing to a downtrend, while we have very nicely consolidated in this area of 5,800 to 6,200, and we took a support again, and a lot of buying came in here. So I think in short term, I would say 6,800, 6,850 are the support areas. And if we fall from there, then of course we will be back to finding bottoms, and that is not going to be good. So what's happening on EOS? So EOS, I think, has settled above $6. Oh no, I think it's actually going down below $6 again now. So it had spent some time above $6. I think it has. This is EOS versus Bitcoin. So remember, while Bitcoin has been going up, EOS was, as typically all the altcoins do, especially EOS was going up very fast, and we did gain a lot of ground against Bitcoin in this move. I hope so. If you look back, so this is again a 15-minute chart. We should not focus too much on that. Let's go to a little bit longer time horizon. And as you can see, in last few days, we have really made good progress against Bitcoin, and which is encouraging. It's created a new high, and I think we should look for this to sustain. If irrespective of Bitcoin market, I think I see that there's a lot more attention coming to EOS, which is a great sign. So what is the so I see some questions already on the YouTube. So we're talking about price of EOS. Sorry, I think speculating the price is very difficult, as I said. So if you can see, this market started with the Bitcoin price going up, and of course, then people start looking for EOS, and that's how it gained better than EOS, better than Bitcoin. But remember that this is not going to be isolated. The whole crypto market has to move up, and then we have to keep making progress. So let me quickly go to the dApps. So why we are getting a lot of attention? Because there's a lot of news around EOS, and for good reasons. Because now we are talking about actual applications, and if you see EOS Bet, which is undoubtedly the biggest application right now, even though you can see EOS Nights at number one because of number of users, I would say, and recently it's gone down because of the maintenance. I think they have been down, and the volumes have gone down in last 24 hours. But let's look at the 7-day volume, and you can clearly see they have actually done 5 million EOS. That is almost at the $6 price, $30 million worth of EOS in last 7 days, which is huge, I would say. And this is the kind of thing which is not there right now on Ethereum, because you can't even do that many transactions if you try to do a betting game. And I think EOS Bet, when they launched, they had explained that they started it on Ethereum and they moved to EOS because it doesn't even make sense to wait for that long for every transaction. But while they were down in maintenance, I think then another application came in. This is a DEOS games, and they are actually gaining because they also enabled their dice game, because of they are planning multiple games, not just dice game. And so they have actually gained quite a lot of volumes. And that is, again, I think it's typically these kind of games are very addictive, so I see that more and more people are joining. But and the exchanges, I think in the new dex and dex eos, they are doing amazing, because they are actually providing you a market for your tokens right now. What we are saying is, any token, like in Ethereum world, when you do an ICO, when you release your token, it takes forever to get listed. The decentralized exchanges are not that good in terms of reliability and so on. What we are seeing here is that these exchanges, Nudex and Dexios, they are doing a lot of volumes already. And of course, the airdrops are not worth much, but what I'm seeing is that the listing is happening super fast. They are becoming very, very reliable, and the instant confirmation is really very important, as you can see, for the experience of what centralized exchanges provide. Like when you go to Binance, you don't have to wait 10 minutes for a transaction to happen. And that's why I think the decentralized exchanges on EOS will really make a lot of difference. So that is, I think, pretty good news. And these working exchanges is a good sign. And of course, these are things which catch up faster, the games and the exchanges. But I'm sure some better concepts are coming soon. For example, I think Tribe. This Tribe is, I have been highlighting this. We did this, have a referral link on our YouTube as well as on our Twitter feed. So this is an airdrop they're doing on 11 September. But let's look at adoption. I think that's what we are focusing on today. So if you look at the adoption, this is Alexa is the ranking site. So what they do is based on the traffic. So this is purely based on traffic. They're trying to tell you how popular the site is. And Tribe is currently going up like exponentially. Of course, it's early days, but if you look at it, there are millions of sites out there. And within a very short period, within a 1 month, they have become 65,000 rank in US, and globally 253,000, which is huge. And I'm sure this the way it is going up, I'm sure, and they are in beta right now. They are not even launched properly. And this is what they're trying to do, is they're trying to become very similar to Steemit, but they are trying to have a very high bar on the quality. And they're keeping a review system in place, and the tokens will be airdropped to people, and those tokens will define. It's very similar to Steemit in the sense that your voting power will be directly proportional to your number of tokens. But I think let's see how that evolves. I'm still learning that, but I would say that it's very, very interesting the way these apps are coming along, and I would love to see more and more of these apps become popular. So in terms of number of users and so on. So this and many of these apps are not yet running on mainnet. They have their token, they have their own side chains. So that is also which is driving the overall ecosystem of EOS. All right. So what is there any questions right now? Let me look at this. You mean integration with Nano S? All right. So I think, yes. So has been some news around integration with hardware wallets. But remember that hardware wallets, the standard hardware wallets, which were there like Treasure or Nano S, those are not going to help you use EOS, because if you remember, like EOS is very different. You don't want to put everything into cold storage. So perhaps you can put your owner key in cold storage, and you can still have an active key, which is using either through scatter, because most of these applications we are talking about, you are interacting with some kind of a plugin like a scatter. So if you see here, I have a plugin here, the scatter plugin, and this is the plugin which you use to access your apps. And you do need more like a outward facing wallet, which is kind of a scatter. And I think the best model would be to put your owner key into cold storage and using the active key for interacting, for staking, for unstaking, and so on, and for voting. And while we're talking about voting, I think let's just quickly see. I think what I last saw, we were like we have hit 1,000 proxy voters, which is great. I think this is what we look for. We want more and more people to come together, and now we are hit 1,000. So thanks a lot, I think, for voting. That is very important. As I keep saying, it's very important for everybody to participate in this voting process. We do need to make a difference into this community and try to see if we can really make the system as clean as possible. And so we do have 1.3 million votes. I think that is because most of you, I think, are the usual average token holder who do not contain huge numbers. So that's why we have some other proxies which are not even registered. So if you go to all proxies, you will see a lot of big proxy accounts here, which are Bitfinex and some other whale accounts. But even in that, I think we are number 19 in terms of tokens. So it's not a bad thing right now. We are really gaining a lot of ranks. And hopefully we can. And now I think the biggest thing which is happening is it's very easy for me to reach out to individual block producers, ask for questions if we have anything with the kind of strength we have built. Then this is a strength in numbers. So none of us are huge in whales, but what we have done using this proxy now, that we have a voice, and we can go and ask tough questions, or even we can highlight what good block producers are doing versus what the other block producers are doing. So that is, I think, very useful. So I wanted to announce one thing. So while we are doing this, so when I talk to these block producers, I realize that there's some really good stuff happening out there in the community. And maybe not all the people are paying attention to these block producers. So what we are going to start is create a very small videos where we are going to do a block producer focused series. And we will also bring on the block producers themselves, ask them some interesting questions. As you know, that a lot of people are focusing right now on politics of all this referendums and everything. So my intention is not to focus on that, because we need to focus on good things around EOS. We need to focus on what is really the ecosystem coming up, how the tools are being developed, how the apps are coming along, and what these block producers are doing to really boot the ecosystem. And that is what we will talk about in this series. So that's going to be coming soon, so please watch out for that. I hope this will be really, really important, because we need to make sure that people understand what is happening in the ecosystem, and not just look at the politics. So as you know, that EOS Alliance started a lot of discussions on constitution. This is, I think, a lot of people are excited about it. Many people do not understand it. So if you don't, I think I did participate in it. It is a good forum. But again, how the results come out, it depends on the people. It depends on the kind of people who drive this discussion. So they are providing a platform. And so if you see, I'm really happy that they're doing these some of the good stuff. Like they are actually posting tri-weekly. That means 3 times a week they are giving a lot of news. So do subscribe to their Medium feed. It's very exciting, I think, because it's sometimes you find something which you're not aware of. So they're doing a good job of that. And I think this is something which we should appreciate. So one of the things which came up is, I think, as we all know, that block.one is not really excited about EOS Alliance. I think somebody asked Dan Larimer about EOS Alliance, and he had kind of a cryptic message. Let me show you that. He had a very interesting take on it, and that was he called it "You rebel scum." So I don't know if it was in a joking way. So it was a question to Dan Larimer, "What do you think of EOS Alliance?" And he said, "You rebel scum." So then he said, "Just kidding." So of course, I think it is all in good humor right now, but I think it's overall, we have not seen any official participation from Block.one, and any unofficial participation as well into any discussion. So that tells us something. But I would say that at this moment, we should all be open-minded and look at it as a platform. And I think a lot of good discussions are happening there. It's all depends on how much time you want to spend in the community. And if you really want to have something to say, please join, have your voice heard. And that is what I would say that is going to be very, very interesting. All right, guys. So this is about as much as I wanted to cover about these particular issues and kind of discussions. So what else is happening? So what we are seeing is, verbally, we talked about in one of the videos. It's a sister chain. They are gaining more and more partners. And EOS New York just announced that they're going to be partnering with Verbly. So we're still trying to understand exactly how this is going to play out. I think many of these block producers are trying to support the overall ecosystem and not just EOS mainnet. And what EOS New York has done here, they're trying to explain why Verbly has to be a separate chain and why it is okay to support them. While I think a lot of people have questions about whether these kind of apps should be launching on EOS mainnet or should we support a sister chain, I think it's a very controversial topic, but I can see that more and more education is important, and that's what I think EOS New York is trying to do. So go through this. We would love to hear your feedback. I don't want to comment about it right now because what happens is it becomes the community is getting very divided about everything, every topic which comes up. If I start with an opinion, I might influence you. So I would like to go you to read about it, send us your feedback, and then we will discuss more about it. But I think in general, the ecosystem is growing beyond mainnet. We talked about Telos, we talked about Verbly. So Verbly is doing an airdrop, by the way, and we did do a video on that. So I hope that you're aware of the airdrop itself. So do watch all our videos about how you can grab those airdrops. We talked about Tribe, the Tribe app, and as it's gaining significance. So make sure you make your account if you are interested in these tokens. They are not giving 1:1 token. They are giving tokens to people who really contribute, who register at their site and start participating. And that is actually critical. Why? I will tell you one thing. So this is what I was trying to show you. So let me go to NewDex, which is the decentralized exchange. And I really like, I think, the exchanges. But what I'm trying to highlight a point here, many of these tokens you might have seen. So let me see if I can show you the prices. Many of these tokens are quoting at like 0.001 or 0.002 EOS. Now, what is happening is most of these tokens were given as airdrop, as 1:1 airdrop. Now, what is like if you look at the order books of these, you will see that there's a lot of selling pressure because a lot of big whales who have no interest in these tokens or these projects, they are actually just dumping these and converting them into EOS because they are only interested in expanding their EOS portfolio and benefiting from EOS, and they don't care about supporting these apps, and that is why these tokens are getting dumped. Some of these tokens are quoting at very very low prices, and if you look at this, like right now, I would say it may not be a bad idea even to buy them if you really like a project, because as we all know, EOS is actually creating some really interesting apps. But what is the problem of airdropping 1:1 I'm just trying to show you the app developer perspective. So like for example, Bet, which is the biggest app, ESB, I think this is sports bet, not the Bet token. Bet is not listed yet. So the EOS dice game, which I think is the most popular in the day apps, they decided not to do 1:1 airdrop as far as I understand. I've not seen any details. Maybe they're doing it. If I'm not aware, let me know. But they are doing, if you play the game, you get an airdrop. So this is more like they're rewarding the people who are interacting with the app. So this is something we need to understand, that most of these tokens right now, they're worth nothing because of this kind of dumping which is happening on these exchanges. And this is not good for people who are looking to raise money this way. For example, if I'm an app, I'm actually killing myself by giving 1:1 airdrop and listing them on exchanges, because right now there is we have most of these big token holders, they are not holding them and they're just dumping it on exchanges. So this is kind of a dampener on overall airdrop model, because everything is designed for an ideal world where people are invested in projects, they really believe in them, and they hold these tokens and see how that goes. Excuse me. And so this is what I think we should look at and support all the apps. And Tribe is taking that approach. EOS Bet is taking that approach. So I think a lot of them are actually taking that approach where they are saying that if you participate in it, you will get free tokens, but you're not going to get the tokens just because you held a huge bag and you just go and dump it on an exchange. So that is something which needs to be discussed, and I think it's up to the dApp developer. And even if, let's say, they do a small airdrop, I would say that they should not give a big chunk. Now, looking at what is happening in the market, I would say means I'm actually advising a few dApps, and I don't want. I would tell them not to give a huge chunk of airdrop, because if you're really trying to raise money, give give market a little bit of supply and create an incentive for participating in the app. What we really need is participation. We need these apps to have more users, more volumes, and that will really be successful for EOS, and not these one penny per EOS kind of airdrops, which people are not really benefiting from, like in terms of the users themselves. The token holders are not benefiting because people are just dumping them, and the dApps are not benefiting because they are not getting the money they wanted to raise through these airdrops. So this is my personal take. So because I have a lot of experience doing this kind of a venture capital world, I would say this is not making any sense right now. And I like the models which some companies are taking, like EOS bet and so on. And I would say that is definitely a good idea. All right, guys, so what else? Uh, is there any other questions? Let me know. I will start looking at my YouTube feed now. While of course, some people may have questions. We already covered the RAM exploit issue. So I'm not a super technical person in the sense what really is the fix right now. What I understand is we have been convinced that this is fixed for time being. And I would wait for whether there will be a mitigation option, whether they will try to recover. Block producers will agree to recover this through governance, and that's something which I would like to understand. But the good news is that it was a very quick fix done by Block.one, and right now I think we don't have this issue anymore. But I think, as I keep saying, there's a lot of FUD usually whenever there is a bug. I'm sure a lot of media houses are having a field day. So you need to understand that softwares always have bugs. I keep repeating that. You cannot avoid bugs in software. You can find them early, you can reward them, and that's already in place. Block.one has an ongoing bounty program, and they are paying handsomely to people who find bugs, and that's the best any organization can do. And that's what I would say you should understand. All right, so what else is going on? Um, so, but let me see. Somehow I'm not able to open my YouTube comments in a bigger window. It's becoming smaller and smaller, and this is why it is I'm not able to take all the questions. Let me have scrolled up and see if I can. So if you recently asked a question which didn't get answered, please type it again, because my YouTube feed is just scrolling very fast, and I have a very small window right now open for YouTube feed. All right, guys, so let me quickly skim through my what other things I had to show, so that we know that I have covered whatever I wanted to talk about. And of course, do watch other videos. So we do keep updating. So one thing I reminded everybody was updating your Grimace wallets, because some people who set it up very early on, if you have forgotten, please upgrade your wallets. New features are always coming in, and refresh your proxies. I don't have to remind you. I think let me quickly look at the EOS Authority voting decay. And I think yesterday when I saw, there was a lot of progress we are making. I think I really love this community. I think all the people who are watching our videos, who are listening to us, we have, I think, one of the lowest decay rates. So if you see 2%, while the average decay is 5% over the chain, I think the people who are voting with us, I'm glad to see that we have only 2% decay. And ideally, like, our goal is education, our goal is an aware community. I would love to see this become 0%. But of course, that's an ideal world, where everybody is voting every week. But I think 2% is a great achievement as a community. So thank you, and I would like to congratulate you for this awareness, for participating as much as you can. So GC Sports Creation, you're saying, do you think Genesis Snapshot was a waste of time? So I think it was not, because I think it was very important. We need to understand that Genesis Snapshot was important for all the reasons about creating a database of EOS users early on. A lot of good airdrops happened, like IQ and whatnot. A lot of projects out there, these guys who are giving you on Genesis Snapshot. I don't think they will be worth nothing if you just hold your tokens. And I'm sure many of these projects will be successful. You need to understand that mainnet has only been alive for what, less than 3 months, and you're talking about these projects which are still in early days. They are building their apps. They are trying to create some really good problems, and that is something which takes time. So softwares are built in years and years. I think. Yeah, if you look at Facebook, they're still developing their features, and it took them like what, if you means any big company which has been built, they have spent 3 to 4 years writing a good big scale software. So we are just, I think, right now giving you an early access to these tokens for free. It was not a bad idea, and I think I'm also supporting anybody who is taking new snapshots. So I won't call Genesis Snapshot as a waste. I would say it was a great idea for people to migrate their tokens. So this really helped a lot of people to own their own tokens. We didn't want all the tokens to be on exchanges. So having a Genesis Snapshot, giving airdrops on the Genesis Snapshot was a great idea to get more people to own their tokens. And I know a lot of people who just moved their tokens off exchanges because of Genesis Snapshot. So I would not call it a waste of effort. I think it was very important. All right, what else do we have? Do you think Genesis snapshot holders will lose out in long term? I don't think so. I think long term, the successful projects will reward you. But of course, you need to understand that yes, the price went down. So you need to understand that EOS, if you look at the price after the mainnet launch, after the Genesis snapshot, we have lost a lot of value. So even if you had, if say Genesis snapshot was useful and these airdrops are useful, if you look at from pure investing perspective, you could you even if you did not buy, you have a chance to buy EOS cheap, and you can buy all the airdrops you want at a very less price, and you will still not pay what you paid around mainnet launch. So that is also a function of market, right? Means around that time we had like if you look at them around mainnet and just before, the market was much better. So it's a overall investment status. It's nothing to do with the EOS ecosystem. It's nothing to do with the airdrops. It's all about how this played out in the market at that time. Um, So I think somebody's asking about the open source game. The EOS bet is not open source, and what are my thoughts? So let me say, means I don't know exactly what are the rules which the community can impose. Means right now I'm appreciating EOS bet because they are taking the EOS ecosystem forward by creating a usable game and demonstrating what is capability of EOS. Now, if they are doing something wrong as per the policies, as per the whatever laws have been set up, I think it is for the legal people to comment on it. I'm sure Block.one should have something to say about it because it's their ownership. The code is released under a certain license. So most of the open source licenses have certain things which drive the adoption. So, for example, when Google releases Android, they can enforce somebody to follow a certain guideline, and similarly, I would let somebody who is more competent to comment on that in the legal areas. But I think, do you really want, let's say, if this is a problem, and do you really want right now to stifle this kind of innovations which people are doing to enforce these legal rules? Of course, you can always force them to make it open source, or you can say that we will block you. You can graylist them. A lot of things are possible at implementation level, I'm sure. But I don't know whether it's a good idea at this stage to create another controversy for that. And I think we should all maybe appeal to them that this is the what they should do and make it open source. I don't know exactly what are the policies around it. What else we have? Account creation is too difficult. I'm seeing a lot of comments. So guys, I don't know what the problem you're trying to tell me, because I get these comments about account creation being so difficult right now. If you go even like a simple links wallet online or Zeos, there's so many account services. All you need to do is to understand public and private key, and that is same for Ethereum, that is same for Bitcoin. So if you're in crypto world, if you already have been involved in using cryptos, I think this is the basics you need to learn. So if you remember, when originally people used to walk into the banks, they used to have their passbooks, they used to know the teller personally. There used to be smaller communities, people used to love that. When internet banking came, you still had a username and password, you had to understand them. It was a new technology. Today it is giving you the features that you can operate your bank from anywhere, and it has become very simple. Now you don't worry about username password, everybody understands it. So in future I'm hoping that people will understand public and private key. And what EOS is providing you is only once you need to set it up. After that, you're sending tokens using your 12 character account names, which are easy to remember. You're not doing every time writing a huge key like Bitcoin or Ethereum and making mistakes in those. So EOS is one of the most user friendly blockchain. And I keep hearing about, oh, it's a very difficult to create accounts and so on. We have done videos about how to create your account. Of course, we have done it for people who understand EOS and who are really interested in doing it the maybe in a way which is most efficient, or most like you can control things. But if you want a simpler options, I would recommend you go look at the Links wallet, look at many other services which are making you pay. Like Links wallet is great. I'm not confirming their security in terms of wallet. I'm confirming the account creation part of it. So what they are doing is you simply go and in your Apple Pay or using your Android App Store or Play Store, and you can simply pay $1 and you can buy an account and you can move your tokens. So that is something which I would say is very, very good and easy right now. So if you just need to do a little more research before complaining about EOS right now, means I think still we are 3 months into the mainnet. I'm sure better tools will come, but I'm not disappointed with existing tools. I'm pretty happy with the. I think I have not seen many people face issues creating accounts who have spent half an hour trying to research it. All right. So I can see on the latest question. So I see that what do you think about Tribe Token? I think I talked about it earlier part of the video. I really love the app they're trying to build. It's look. So my take on it is it is like a Steemit contribution driven token, and I'm liking what I'm seeing right now. But I would love to see when they really launch it. Right now it is in beta. I would like to see faster updates to the, like when you post a article, it should be reviewed faster and so on. I think they have already promised that, and they are doing a gamification based ICO where they are trying to create some bounties and so on, which is again a very interesting idea. So they are very innovative team. I have good feedback for that, I would say. So they are pretty good, and right now they are giving you free tokens. Do use our link, the referral link, so that helps our team to get some free tokens. But if you have not, because it doesn't cost you anything to use a referral link, we will post it in the video below, and we have also posted it on our Twitter feed or other places. But otherwise, I would say that that Tribe is looking very promising. So people are talking about Boyd. Okay, so to be frank, I have not spent enough time on Boyd. I think I still don't understand exactly how they use your CPU. I'm personally a more private person. I don't want somebody to run something on my PC and worry about what they're doing. But I think whatever I'm hearing about them, of course, there is no malicious intent. They are coming very upfront, and they are trying to define an economy of with using your CPU resources. So I don't know exactly what that would involve. The good news is that what I heard is that EOS DAC is partnering with them, and they are definitely a great team. So I would have more confidence on Boyd now than before. But again, as I said, personally, I have not looked into it, so I'm not going to be very, very particular about exactly whether it's a good thing or a bad thing to put your resources like CPU and so on. What else? Let me see. What are the other questions? Account creation. I think the same comments I can see if I'm scrolling up. So if you have any question which I missed, please go ahead and post it again, and I'll try to take it. So guys, I have another 10 minutes, so let's quickly do that if you have any questions. So overall, I think summarizing it, I think market is looking again very iffy. So be careful out there if you're speculating or trading. I think long-term prospects of EOS are looking great because of the dApps, I would say. But of course, we all would love to see more than just gambling apps. And that is something which is very important for the ecosystem. So you know that I think exchanges are there, and I think Wizards were dot one I covered in one of the recent videos. They have done a partnership. I'm expecting some better. No, I think that was Monster EOS. Sorry for that. So I think Monsters EOS had done a partnership with some game engine, and they are going to bring some better quality games. I think that's a great news. But if you see the top games, most of them are looking like gambling. Oh, didn't know that there is a Trump scam game. I don't know what kind of stuff is happening there. So I'm sure there are a lot of apps coming which are not looking like they will do anything different. So I'm hoping that so many of these projects which we are seeing on, they are very good. I think Karma is a great idea. EDNA is a very, very good idea. Horus Pay, many of these like IQ we already talked about so many times, Wikipedia. So there's so many different projects. They are much more complex and they are taking time. So be patient. I'm sure many of these will succeed and create a really good blockchain-based app. But I think in short term, I'm still happy seeing this gambling as better than the block Twitter or some spam, because we do need some real apps. We need real interaction. But if you're gambling, do it with responsibility. Please don't get addicted and do this, because this is the only worry I have. You don't want to blow away your money if you don't understand the probabilities, if you don't understand that ultimately the house always wins. So if you do it for fun, if you do it with the amount which can you're willing to lose, that's fine. But don't please don't gamble away your hard-earned EOS. All right, guys, what are the questions? Next day, snapshot date. So, guys, please understand snapshots can happen every day. It's all the snapshot dates right now I'm hearing is verbally around 7th September. Tribe is doing 11th September, but they are not doing a EOS token airdrop. They are doing a whoever is registered with them and they have earned tokens, they are giving another token for that. So verbally, I would say, I think Riddle, if you had registered earlier and if you have some tokens assigned on Riddle or you participated in it, they have a snapshot on 1st September. So a lot of snapshots are coming. So don't ask me what is the next snapshot date. There's no big chunk of airdrops coming on a particular snapshot. Now it is a running chain. It is not a it's a chain which is actually producing blocks every minute, every second. So anybody can take any snapshot they want, and that is how it will work. So you need to understand that part. Um, then what are the other questions? What is a spam from your Twitter? I think that is a block Twitter. They are just I don't know their intentions. I hope they come out. They are already getting gray listed, and what that means is that block producers are going to not process their transactions. So that is something which has been going on for quite a lot of time, and that's what I was trying to highlight to you. Uh, how big is EOS blockchain currently? I did not really understand your question. In what sense you're talking about in terms of how big? You can look at it in terms of, so if you go to Blocktivity, you can see, let me see, Blocktivity, you can see the number of transactions. So EOS is right now doing so many number of transactions. You can go to CoinMarketCap to see what is the valuation of EOS. So I really don't understand when you say how big is EOS blockchain right now. Um, anyone using EOS Links wallet? So I just talked about it. We tried it. We tried creating a couple of accounts on EOS Links, and we are happy with the experience. But overall, I think I'm still not sure about the security aspects. So that is something which we need some peer review. Some PPs have to come along who are more technical and confirm that it is as secure as it can be. But otherwise, I think it's a pretty good app. And that's what we like about it. But it's a very simple app right now. We have not recently seen any updates, but till now we only saw it account creation and token transfer. That's the only features we have reviewed. What else? Please tell us your opinion about EOS price prediction. Price prediction, as I said, depends on the market. If Bitcoin goes to 10,000, I can promise you that EOS will go to more than $10. That's all I can say based on my experience trading, but let me not speculate here because the market conditions are not in our hands. But I think if the dApps keep coming, I think, as I said, it takes time, 3 to 6 months for good apps to be even launching. Maybe another 1 year, we should see a really great apps. So by next year, I'm sure EOS will be much higher. But right now, I don't know. Means the market is not looking good. Do you know what dApps are going to be available in September in London? No, nobody knows that. Only Block.one knows that. So Grimace is a better wallet. Yes, Grimace is definitely way, way better. It's more secure. It's verified. It's reviewed by so many people. So I would say that Grimace is something which everybody should use without any hesitation, and it has all the features you need. Okay, what is else? What else? Is fork a good idea for EOS holders? I would say that I have talked many times. Forks are, yeah, impossible to avoid. You can call them forks, you can call them sister chains. There are a lot of wordings being used. First of all, forks are not happening. EOS is a single mainnet. There is no fork. Whatever you are seeing, they are sister chains. They are using the EOS IO code. So EOS mainnet is not forked, and it is not. There is no near time visibility into what is happening, but I don't see any fork happening in EOS. So you need to understand what a fork means. When you look at other things, which some people are calling it fork, and we ourselves have called fork, and so apologize for that terminology. I think the better words to use are the sister chains or side chains or whatever you can call them. And those guys are using EOS IO software. EOS IO software is free. It's a open source software. Anybody can use it. You can run your own EOS IO software in your garage, and you can run with any number of block producer you want. Test nets are the same. So that is what it means. So don't worry about forks. EOS mainnet is only single mainnet. All right. So I think we have last couple of questions we will take, and then we'll call it a day for now. Is the new chain verbally going to make EOS debit card? Means I have not looked at it. I do see some mention of it. I think they are trying to build a financial services model which includes everything, and which includes trading, the real world utilities like commodities, like uh, integrating with the fiat currency, which is a great news, I would say. But I don't know whether they will build debit cards. That is something which they can respond. Can I add EOS airdrops to the Grimace wallet? Yes, you can. Grimace wallet allows that. And I would say that if you're really interacting with airdrops, if you're buying and selling, or you're using decentralized exchanges like NewDex or the DEX EOS, while you're setting up Grimace, do watch our video, which we did recently on, and we talked about what you can do is you can set up your Grimace wallet, you can change your active key and use your scatter wallet. So Scatter wallet is something which will really allow you. So Scatter is a web interface. If you're new to it, please go read about it. There are a lot of videos out there about Scatter. And Scatter is something which you should use to interact with any games, any dApps, or even for selling or buying airdrop tokens. You don't have to do anything. Once you have your wallet set up, see, you don't need anything to really interact other than Scatter. And all the tokens which are already there in your wallet, which you can see on blocks.io or any other like EOS Flare or CryptoLions or any tools on blockchain, you can directly buy and sell them on this decentralized exchanges. So this is the great thing about it. You don't need your wallet to do anything. I don't know whether all the wallets right now support sending tokens, but I don't see many people who will be sending like an airdrop token to one another. So I don't see a great use case other than just selling or buying your tokens on exchanges. I would say that you don't have to worry about accessing your tokens through your wallet. What you need to care about is if you really want to interact with exchanges, if you want to sell your tokens or buy these tokens. I think the only way right now is to use Scatter and to use these exchanges like NewDex and DexEOS, and that will really make it you to be able to buy and sell these airdrops. All right, guys. So this is all I had. I think there's some good questions being asked, but I need to run. So thanks a lot for joining. If you like the video, the content, please press like and do subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Final announcements: we are going to be launching some meetups, and also I'm working with some dApps and some other developers. So if you are interested in developing, if you're interested in meeting up and creating community, the local communities, we do want to support that. And do reach out to us wherever possible. You can comment on YouTube, you can send us email. Most of our details are available on our YouTube channel, and please let us know. And I think we have a Telegram channel. I think that's the best way to interact with us, because we are very active on that. So please use that Telegram channel link, join it, and participate in the discussion. And we hope to see more of you there, and create a very, very aware community who is working towards understanding and betterment of the community. That's all we do. And thanks once again for all your proxy accounts and for your refreshing of proxy, because we need very, very low decay. We need all the votes to be effective. And right now we have, so what I would like to look at is this number, that is 1.268 million EOS effective, while yes, we have 1.296 who are proxying with us. And that is something which we should be proud of. And we will try to create more and more of this kind of awareness and help you vote. And moreover, I think if you really understand the system, if you really know whom you want to vote for, please go vote yourself. Don't just assign proxies. I think you need to really get involved. I think that's what we recommend. But if you really think that you cannot select the 30 block producers or even 20 block producers, then we are giving you this option to assign proxy, and please use it. So thanks once again, and bye for now, and we'll keep coming back to you with more information, and we hope that it was useful.